I'm your host, Shanasia Washington. Join us as we share inspiring stories and insights from extraordinary women who have found their voice and are making a difference. Together, we'll create a ripple effect, illuminating the path to visibility and empowerment. Let's break barriers, shatter ceilings, and lift each other up. In each episode, we dive deep into the journeys of women who have turned their challenges into triumphs and their dreams into reality. Whether you're looking for motivation, guidance, or a community that understands your journey, you're in the right place. Stay tuned and remember, let your voice shine. Let your voice shine. It is your fabulous host, Shanasia Washington, streaming from none other than Houston, Texas, H-Town, baby. It is storming out there, y'all. It's been a warm and wet weekend. But let me tell you something. The bright and shiny star is here to save the day, right? Y'all know how I do. I think this is the best podcast on the planet. I'm going to stand on that. I think it's a miraculous place where people are only not here to be visible, but they are literally transformed from the inside out. And I'm very proud of that. And I have a fabulous guest today. Y'all know I go and look at all their business. They just sit there, they be smiling, but we go dig and we look at what we have to do to get this show on the road. I'm going to bring our guest to the stage and do our normal drill. She's going to tell us her name, where she's streaming from, and we're going to get the magic of her story without any further waiting time. Here's my very beautiful guest for today.
Hi, everybody. I'm Natasha, the founder and CEO of Herplum. We are in Brooklyn, New York. And so Herplum is a feminine hygiene and wellness brand that's combining menstrual health and mental health. Our goal is to combine really non-toxic, reusable pads to reduce sensitivity and irritation, but also monthly breathing and meditation videos that are 5 to 7 minutes a month to really help with symptoms from PMS, PMDD, cycle anxiety, and postpartum. And so really intertwining the two really helps to focus on the whole human. And so for me, this really started because I struggled with my reproductive health from a very young age, right? From the age of 10, I got my first menstrual. But then I had irregular periods, abnormal cells, a cyst blocking a fallopian tube, which I had to get surgery for, and then develop fibroids. And I was like, what is happening, right? And so thankfully, my late grandmother, who was a nurse, my family's from Guyana. And so she shared, why don't you switch your menstrual products and change your eating habits? And I think being a very young girl, I didn't understand what are the options, what are they, right? And so I kind of went down this road of searching of, what's out there, what should I use? And so I switched to reusable products, but then still experienced a lot of sensitivity and irritation, and started to look into what those products, the disposable products and reusable products, what they had in them. And I decided I'm going to make my own. And so I went down this road of creating our pads that are made with fabrics that are Oeko-Tex Standard 100 certified, which means that they have been tested for over 1,000 harmful substances, and really made sure that the core of the business is truly taking care of the woman, taking care of her in mind, body, and spirit, right? And so our products are safe, as well as our ability to use monthly breathing and meditation, which also comes from me being a yoga master. That is very, very important to me. And so I wanted to be able to provide folks with an ability to pause, take care of their bodies, and really be intentional about how they show up in the world today within themselves and their community. So that's Herplum. That's a little bit about me. And I'm so glad to be here with all of you.
I love that. Thank you for that powerful intro segment. And I think just from reflection, community, and really probably what I've learned and unpacked over the last, I would probably say 6 or 7 years, especially in our community, fibroids is not talked about nearly enough. Like I literally just got chills when I said it because, I'm a reader. I'm a science kid by nature. My life has changed so many. I've done so many different things, but that science kid always is kind of still in there. So I go and read different research pieces and all this. But heavy over my mind has been that silence amongst us around fibroids. And it's a big issue. Like there are so many of us that deal with it in our community. And, maybe I know historically it just wasn't enough knowledge on it, but now there are things. So when I looked at your story, I said, there is this personal struggle of the reproductive side. And then there was some, we haven't gotten to that point, but in her intake form, she said there was also some mental health things that were going there, and those two things were combined. Tell me why you decided, nope, I got to talk about it. I got to move in a place of voice and not silence, because we have to speak from it from that angle. But I want you to walk it out, because she know, like I know, in our community, it's not being talked about nearly enough.
Yeah. So I really had this kind of, I think from a very young age, right? My sister got her period before I did. She's 15 months older than I was. And I realized that she wasn't having any struggles with her menstrual cycle or any issues at all. And I think this internal conversation started to happen with, wait, what's wrong with me? And so, how am I the person that's experiencing these things? But then when I had, my grandmother was here and her starting to share, why don't you change your eating habits and your menstrual products? I said, well, this is a time for me to tap in and understand what my body is doing in order for me to help it. Right. Instead of just saying, I don't know what my body's doing. It does all these things and I don't really, you kind of move on with life. But there was really, that point in time when, after I had my surgery for the cyst that was blocking the fallopian tube, and then when I developed fibroids, I think there was definitely a point where I said, let me pause. Let me take a step back and really understand. And it really was those internal conversations that I was having with myself to say, if my grandmother could tell me to, change, and I was a bit hesitant to, then why don't I start now, right? It's time to start now to really tap in. And I think one of the things that, all of us, I don't, myself included, we don't kind of listen to our internal gut, right? Which says, hold on, something is happening. Why don't you do this, right? Do this, take a moment and actually focus on what's actually going on with you. And I shared in the past, in the intake, right? I also dealt with a lot of kind of suicidal thoughts and all the things. And so there was really a place for me to say, wait, like, what's actually happening? And so my gut feeling, my intuition of, wait, I need to change something. My body's telling me to do something. And so I need to be proactive in helping it out, right? I don't think that we actually take the time to listen. And we kind of go about our days. And so something as simple as your GPS telling you to go right, but something in you says go left, and then you go right and you go into traffic, right? It's those very simple shifts that we don't even realize that you're not listening to your internal self. So I really took a step back and said, whoa, what is happening? Let me listen. And then let me take the steps to help my body.
Look, I know we're saying that that's heavy, and we don't get that time to listen. And sometimes it's not intentional. Sometimes we're just in survival mode. Sometimes we're just trying to do the next thing, Natasha. We're just trying to survive out here. And it's not because, no, I don't want to listen to myself. That's not what it's saying. But I haven't allowed myself the space to do it because I'm just trying to make it. I'm just trying to keep my head above water. So when I talk about that from a place of really grace, because I think that people like you need to say it, because it implants the thing in my mind, well, hey, maybe I can do that. Maybe that is an option for me. Yeah. Many of our ancestors didn't get the opportunity to listen to themselves.
Right.
It was infiltrated with all kind of other stuff that was put into their head, the workload and all the doubt. I mean, it's a compounded effect on how we got there. So I want to always make sure that my audience is very clear on that we say it from a place of grace, and we come before you to share experiences to create a ripple effect. It's not just about us, we're on this cute little podcast. We want you to go and do the real work that makes real change. Because now I still believe, there's so many women that are, of course, silently struggling with all kinds of things, PMS, PMDD, all the different things. Tell me from your perspective, what conversations do you think society avoids when we talk about women's health? What are we still avoiding?
Oh,
sit with it.
as a community, we're not listening. We're not listening. And I think also we don't even know what we're feeling and how to communicate it, right? And so that is truly the reason why I was like, we need to implement this 5 to 7 minute video a month to help people to hear themselves, right? Because before you go to any doctor, guess what? You are your own doctor first. You know when something feels off. You know when, oh, wait, my knee is hurting. Where did that knee pain come from? Oh, I was doing this exercise, or maybe I tripped down the stairs. We all know exactly what happened, or, might know exactly what happened in order for us to feel the way that we do. And so we do have to kind of doctor ourselves first before we communicate to the doctor what's actually happening. But then on top of that, if we feel like our healthcare providers are not supportive or listening of how we want to take care of our bodies, and then for them to provide the solutions for us, guess what? We are entitled to go to another doctor. There are thousands of them out there. And so if you're not being heard and seen and valued and supported by your healthcare provider, you can say, I am ready to switch. And that is okay. And I think sometimes we are afraid of going to another doctor or standing up for ourselves. There has been many times I have been in the doctor's office and I was like, wait, just want to make sure that you heard what I said, right? I am more of a holistic person. I don't like to take all the medications. You got a cold, take all the things, all the medications over the counter. I am not that person. I would rather do the ginger, the heavy fluids and rest, because that's what helps my body. And so I have been to the doctor with a cold and they were like, here's all the drugs. And I was like, I would rather not. And they would push back and say, I'm going to put the prescription in for you. And I would say, I'm not going to fill it. So we do have to be very adamant and put a boundary down on how we want our healthcare system to show up. But we have to listen to ourselves first. We have to know what we need, right? We have to know when something feels off. We have to tap in. And so the more that we tap in, the better we're able to educate and really steer the healthcare system. We have to know, right?
We have to take that accountability for the education on the front end. And let me just say, I understand it could seem overwhelming when you're dealing with insurance companies and doctors and providers, been through that on a number of different things. But let me tell you, and I've told this story a couple of times on this podcast, I didn't take that seriously until I almost died giving birth to my 8-year-old in there.
Yeah.
Okay. I did not take that seriously. So I had to have a real life walk with that. And still 8 years later, thinking the grace of God that I survived.
Yeah, thank God.
I just replayed everything that went wrong, and I didn't know what I didn't know what I didn't know.
Right.
So when I come to the end of that and still can come to this platform, I share the most purest form. Look, girl, this is what I did. This is what you should be asking. I am not at all wishing anything that happened to me happened to you, but I'm coming from a place of education and saying, based on this, ask this, get an understanding, of what's being done. Because I want you to have that power of education going in there. So listening in and tapping in, I know there's so much stuff going on, but when it comes to your body and what these people are telling you to do, I'm gonna be good now. And what they telling you to do, get you a little bit more education. And the other part I like that Natasha talked about, she said, I like this holistic thing. I've become, more inclined to understand what these natural products, these natural resources can do for me. That's also too a piece of education that she had to walk out and say, what are some of these other options? What are maybe some of the things we've used historically in my family that are still reigning good today that they're probably telling you don't use there, but it's still reigning good today. But the other part, I want to make sure we hit on this, because she also uses yoga as a practice. Okay, because she mentioned that, I said, "Huh, I got to touch on that because I want you to tell us about how movement, how breathing work, excuse me, how that helps Natasha reconnect to her core because that's the kind of see we be wanting to be cute all the time. Okay. I'm just saying, we want to be cute all the time and do all this extracurricular stuff, which that's good too. Live your life, girl. Live your life. You've been working. But it's some it's sometimes you just gotta step back and you have to reconnect to the core. You have to reconnect, you have to reground and do all those things. And I want her to talk about that because I love that you practice yoga. I think it's look, I be a little scared. I'm gonna lose 2 more pounds, so I'll be up here trying to. But anyway, I want you to talk about yoga and really how that connects you back to core.
Yeah. Yeah. So listen, yoga was something when I was younger, I did not think I needed. Just like a lot of people don't think, oh, I don't need yoga. I don't need to kind of go to therapy or whatever that may be. And a friend of mine, a very good friend of mine, who she actually has her own yoga practice. Her mother's a yoga master. And so for 2 years, she kept nudging me, right? Natasha, I think you should come to yoga. And I was like, girl, that ain't for me. And, I finally went and it was like mind boggling with, oh, wow, I didn't even realize that this is exactly what I needed. And so yoga actually helped me to, and I've been doing yoga for like 14 or 15 years. And so I taught for 4 years prior to COVID. And then after COVID, now I'm just I use the tools that I've learned to continue to support me on a day-to-day basis. But really, yoga helped me to tell myself the real stories internally. How does that feel? Oof, right? And when you have to look at yourself in the mirror at these are the things I need to improve on, these are the things that I experienced, then you get to like really dissect and heal the parts of you that maybe you didn't like or that you were going through, and how did you get to a place where you were suicidal. It really helps you to dissect and figure out what was the root cause of the things that were in your mind or your feelings that you were experiencing. And so yoga helped me to, and I went all the way to New Zealand, right, on doing kayaking meditation to really tap into the waterfall as the water was falling down, feeling those feelings of being scared because I was so close to the waterfall, and really grounding myself during that time to understand, yes, there's going to be all of the noise in life. Things are going to come up. But what's your tool to help you to relax and really find clarity? That's what yoga is for me, right? It helps me to take a pause, find the clarity, find the path. Don't worry about all the things that's happening. What do you have control over? You don't have control over the world. I'll tell you that much, right? You don't have control over people. No, you don't. You have control over you. And so I have built the tools. I have gained the tools to allow me to have control over me. I have control over how I process my emotions. I have control over how I want to engage with my community. I am the person that has control. And so yoga has helped me to really manage and understand my emotions, because sure, you can be angry. Does that mean you're an angry person? No, I'm just angry at this one thing that happened. Right? It doesn't mean that you're now this one type of person. You can be within different people, right? Within different friend groups, you can be, hey, that group think I'm angry. This group think I'm so nice. This other group think I'm anxious. Mm-hmm. And all of those could be true. Mm-hmm. But you have to identify the core of truly what you're experiencing, where it came from, and then be able to heal that so that it doesn't kind of trigger you going forward. You can kind of watch yourself, and they say in yoga, right, really watch your experience as a movie in third person, identify the thing, and then be able to, ooh, this is what happened. This is how I got here. And let me heal that part, right? That way you're as a way to build foundation for how you deal with things in the future, right? And so also it's living in the present. I don't live in the past.
Sure.
The past is just like, okay, whatever happened in the past, that's learnings as opposed to mistakes, right? We have to change our wording and even how we engage with ourselves. Those are learnings. Your present is what you do now, and what you do now is impacting the future. But really, it's okay. You learned from those experiences, and now you can unlearn and relearn, and that's okay, right?
Absolutely. That's why I said I went way to New Zealand for this thing. He was way I love it. Yeah. I picked that up. I said, okay, I love that. I love that for you. But but on all serious note, like that, focusing on the past, it's wasted energy, y'all. Ain't nothing we can do back to go and change it.
Correct.
It really is. And that's one of the things I think in our psyche that we have to break. We understand that the past it of course serves some relevance. You can learn from it. You can go back and reshape. You can help break maybe some generational things by knowing where that stands, But in terms of the energy of wishing and hoping and falling back into it, it's wasted energy. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if they didn't put something in the time. It seemed like the time moving a little faster. In case you ain't noticed, this little mix of time now. It's hitting y'all, and this time is moving. It's moving so quickly, and you will really waste your years, your time, your space, your all with the continual looking back motion.
Correct.
And I just want to be very clear with that. That's why I tell you guys, because a lot of the stuff that some of y'all are doing, when I talk about the extracurricular, you doing a lot of this stuff because you haven't done the core work. That's not to say that you still don't want to do those things. You mask with those things because you don't have to live in the truth and the pain of the thing, right? You feel like if you go, if I go do this trip, and you come back 3 days later, girl, you're right back in the same old broken spot.
Right.
I say it all the time. I'm not saying don't do the things, but I'm saying from a place, if you're doing that to numb and go and do the real work so you can have some real freedom. That's all I want to say. I want to make sure I go back here to Herplum because girl is fire. I said, okay, Herplum. I was all in. Anyway, let me tell you, good work. I'm proud of you, girl.
Thank you.
I am so incredibly proud of you. I look like the old folks say, you don't look like what you've been through, child. So you might as well keep. You know how it goes. So I'm proud of you. I love Herplum. I really do, and I love that it focuses on sustainability. I don't know if that's a part of you doing this, having a reusable product. Tell me, and you talked about it in the opening segment, but I want you to answer it here, and then also, of course, redrop where we can find Herplum. Tell me why sustainability was important to your brand mission. We know on the onset we kind of went into that, but I want you to talk about it a little bit more here, and also be sure to redrop where Herplum is found.
Yeah. So really, sustainability is important to me because we all live on this earth, on this planet, and we all have a responsibility, right, to take care of it, right? It's Mother Earth, and it's Mother Earth because it provides us with the nutrients, all the things that we need to live, right? And so we have a responsibility to take care of it. Sustainability too, when it comes to disposable products, a lot of people don't know that it does take 500 to 700 years to naturally decompose a disposable product. And so a lot of us are, and of course me in the beginning, that's what I was given, so that's what I used. But doing a more research, right, I realized that the more pads that I was using and throwing away, it impacts our oceans. It impacts the food that we eat. If we're eating any sort of, seafood, those marine life, they're, eating the microplastics, and guess what? It's coming right back to us in our foods and impacting our health. And so really, for me, I have a responsibility too in how I take care of the earth. And so a majority of us are using, 15 to, 20 on average pads a month. And some tampons, right? You're changing it every hour, every 2 hours, and it's going right in the, the bin, right? And potentially ending up in our oceans. And so for me, it was really about, we have a responsibility to support our earth. And all of our products are being sold on herplum.com, and it's Herplum because it's her plum. It's hers, right? It's her reproductive system. It's her responsibility to take care of it. And that also it's Mother Earth, right? It's our responsibility to take care of her. And so you can find me on herplum.com. That's HERPLUM, but also on all the social media channels, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, LinkedIn, Pinterest. We are Herplum. And you can find us across the board in that same place.
I love it. So you guys definitely go and check out Herplum. Like I was all up last night looking. I said, let me get out this lady's business, looking at all of this. But I said, this place, seriously, I want to make sure that I understand the missions that are being brought forth here, and I handle it with care. I know that my spirit is light. I'm laughable, all the things. I mean, this is just God given. Like, everybody thinks that this is like all the time. And I tell people after these podcasts, I'll be in my room for like 3-4 days. I don't want to. I had enough. Okay. I'm actually probably the textbook introvert, and people just don't believe that. But they know from my past life, and they've seen me matriculate through this thing. So when I come and give this, it really is truly God's, because this amplifies in this space, and it allows a place for people to come and tell their stories and do it in a way that feels comfortable. So I don't take it light. So when I go through and I make these things, I take it with the utmost care and respect, because where else would I probably met Natasha Hall?
Right.
Where else? Right. And the thing about it is that I may not get the opportunity to interact with her again. So this is my very time to be like, okay, this is the first time I'm being able to see this. And at best, the last thing that she can do is walk away with saying I had a great experience. And what Sinead said she was going to do, she did. So this is my embodiment and walk with that, even though it is a podcast, but it's very much alignment and very much that yes to doing a space girl that in real life, your girl really don't be wanting to talk to nobody. And real, but it comes through and it shines here. I have to ask you this because I read this and I thought this was really interesting. I want to make sure I get this one in, because I read that you are working to get partnerships with DOE, our Department of Education, really around the mental health space. It's so good. I think that you're doing this at that level. There's some things that I'm doing personally as well to reconnect with younger communities, really around voice, really around visibility, really around presence. That it's lacking right there. Is because I tell people, I don't care what you go out there and do. If you want to be a rocket science, a physicist, a physical therapist, I don't care. There's a core that has to go with you. And I'm here to work on that core. So I am working to get that aligned with younger populations. So I love that has reached your path as well. Tell me what you are hoping that your education leaves on that particular community.
Yeah. So I think, first of all, the education of menstrual and mental health is not in the school system today, right? And I think that's where a lot of the stigma and embarrassment really comes from. Is there's no education on real menstrual health, right? And so I even think back to, the fact that no one really knows the phases of the cycle, right? And where would you learn that? It's not in school. So really for me, it was, I need to be able to educate our younger girls, our younger women on their menstrual health, right? The phases of it, the hormones that's going to be going up and down, some of the symptoms that they may experience, when they should be going to the doctor or not. And so it also allows me to educate our younger boys and younger men to understand, right? There's a need for us to have allies here, right? And that comes with younger men being educated. And so for me, it's really both groups of people, right? Need to be educated on, these are the things that women are experiencing. Maybe this is how I can help, or maybe be a bit more understanding. These are the places that women can be a bit more educated and therefore not be embarrassed, right? Or feel like they have to keep their story to themselves and maybe not share. So really it's creating a platform for people to be more understanding, of the things that women are experiencing from a younger age, and not because I have friends who are men today, right, in their late 30s, 40s, who are like, I don't need to talk about it. I mean, and it's like, what do you mean? You've had girlfriends, you have a mom, you have aunts, you have daughters, and so it's really about making people feel more comfortable with menstruation, but also it's about educating our younger girls on better options or safer options to use to support their womb health, right? So across the board, it's really about education. It's about, opening up, access to safer products. It's about educating our community on being more aware of the things that women are experiencing during that time, and to allow it to not only propel our healthcare system forward, but also create a space of creating better communication within people, within relationships, right? When you're more vulnerable and able to share, hey, this is what I'm going through, and your partner understands and is able to help because they're educated, then it just makes conversations a lot easier, right? So across the board, it's really helping everyone to understand how they can support their communities, support themselves, how they can support the earth, but also for it to be a catalyst for our healthcare system and to better our communication within our communities.
I love that. And when we kind of talked about this earlier about having that accountability for education and knowledge, the earlier that they get that lens of what to know, the better suited they are for their journey. So even if you are a person that identifies in my age group feeling like, oh, you don't need to talk about it. Yes, you do. There's a whole ecosystem that you don't believe that's tied to your story and your experience. That's why I encourage you guys, find a safe place to talk about it, so that we can have this knowledge really to be able to hinge on and move forward. So thank you for that. And I'm like, oh my gosh, how did I get to the age where like, oh, I got to look down at the youth like how I get here, Natasha? I say I'm the guest speaker now. Wait a minute.
You're blessed to be the guest, to be the speaker now, right?
What happened? And here I am now with this extra layer of responsibility as not only, like I said, a mother of an 8-year-old son, but also just being, like I really like to say, a global citizen, and saying that what I have gone through is sometimes beyond me, and it has to be talked about. What Natasha has gone on and what she has gone on is beyond her. And that's why this place and this bridge exists, really for storytelling, to facilitate things that people don't believe that are larger than them. So thank you so much for sharing that. Now, you ready for this question? Let's go here.
Come on.
Now, okay. Let's talk about entrepreneurship real quick. I got to get this one in because it can be draining. It can be draining. It can be demanding. It can be a lot of unknowns. It's a lot, especially when your business is deeply personal.
Yeah.
When you maybe out here just slanging something to get something done, you may not feel as
right.
Okay. All right. Let's stay with it. But when it's deeply personal, it can be taxing because you support the mission, you believe in it, and then there's this layer of business, but I want to get the mission out, and sometimes they get very blurry. Tell me how you're caring for yourself. Are you caring for so many other people? That's why I asked you to get ready for it, because I want you to walk it out.
Yeah.
Tell me how you doing.
Yeah, it's really those intentional moments of tapping in and asking myself, what do I need? Just last month, the month of April, I did a 30-day mind, body, spirit reset, just to connect to, hey, what exactly do I need? And how do I get there, right? And it involved me meditating every day. And that's really doing bowing meditation, writing to myself. So really journaling, doing some sort of movement, so exercise, and then reading. And so I read, 3 books last month. And so really it's about being intentional. There are days where I'm like, I don't know what I should be doing, right? And to be honest, I am a CPA by trade, and so I'm really a a left-brainer. But creativity and is on the right side, right? I believe that's the case, right? I believe his left side is like technical, right side is creative. So I don't know if I'm right there, but I believe so. But all in all, it's really switching from that kind of CPA brain to a more structured, and it goes this way. It's based on the principles, and it's how you get here. You get to the answer, right? To be an entrepreneur where things are a bit more fluid, right? It's really understanding what people are into, but also staying to your core of your why, right? My why is I want to be able to support women in an intentional way so that they can live a healthier, happier life, right? And it's because I want to live a healthy, happy life. And so for me, it's like, do unto others as you would like to be done for yourself, right? I want to be healthy and happy, and I want that for other women. And so, yes, running a business is hard some days. Some days you're like, what is happening? But I always come back to the core of my why. I'm doing this for there's a purpose, there's a reason. And I implement times in my day or my month of doing things to help me stay grounded and focused on the goal, right? The goal is to be able to, again, be a catalyst for women's health to be improved, for there to be more research, for women to understand their bodies better. And that takes time, right? And so if I also need to be patient with myself, because it's a road that is not just one day. It's not instant gratification. You're going to get this. It happens in one day, done, right? And so if I'm thinking to myself, hey, how does business work? It works over a period of time, right? Things start to happen as people become more aware. And so they don't become aware on day one. And so really it's me implementing the tools to reality. Reality is things takes time. Education takes time. And you have to be patient with yourself on that process, so that you can, there's not going to be this instant gratification. No. But coming back to my why on being an entrepreneur is what's keeping me grounded, what's keeping me focused, what's keeping me with my eye on the prize, which is, again, supporting and advocating for improvements in women's health.
Okay, now Natasha, you did that beautifully. I'm believing you over here, and I'm so happy that you grounded in that. And what I really want to take from that segment is that it takes time.
Yeah.
So we have many people here who are building or who are in the process of maybe even scaling, but just know that it's going to take a little time, and to give yourself some grace. The tides change, of course, with entrepreneurship. We sometimes, when we're selling, especially in the world of social media and marketing, and then when you get into contracts, regulations change. So there's always a changing measure in however it is that you are conducting your business. So just be a little vigilant of that, and give yourself a little grace and stand in it. And I always wonder on this podcast, how do our time go so fast? I was like, what happened? We just started. And you want to tell me that my time is dwindling down, but it's just really testament to really the pure space and the beautiful conversation that we have here. And I'm so happy that you came to do that. This is the part of my show where I cue to my guests for final thoughts. I asked them to give us some great parting words for this space, and really something that captures the essence of the Natasha Hall. So over to you for final thoughts. I'll be back to close the show.
Yeah. So for me, I want everyone to know that you are valuable. Your health is valuable. You as a person is valuable. And so I want you to feel that in your gut, in your womb, in your heart, in your spirit, in your mind, and know that it starts from there and how you take care of yourself, the products that you choose, the conversations that you have with yourself and your community. And so I just want to let you know that you are valuable. You are worthy to be the best, right, at anything that you choose. And so really it's about how you take care of yourself, and take care of yourself first, and take care of others and people in your community. And so I'm so glad that you are here with me and Shanandra, listening and really tapping into yourself and really how to take care of you. And so I'm so glad to connect with you. Don't forget to reach out to me on herplum.com, on Herplum, on all the social media platforms. I'm excited to connect with you. I'm excited to answer any questions that you all may have. And I'm excited to see women's health really improve.
Yes, absolutely. And I would definitely love to see you doing more of these style things with your community and having maybe roundtable type discussions like this. I think you have great subject matter expertise in the place, and you're also pouring in with an actual product that supports the cause. So just a little nugget for you to take away. It'd be good to see you. it'll, be, it'll be good to see you really and truly operate in that space, because even we have people out there doing it, but God, it's not nearly enough. You guys know that I kind of in all sectors. I've talked to all kinds of people. I'm across industries. So I can honestly say, just from my seat of walking, that we need more eyes on what you talk about, because especially in our community, we are still being plagued by many of the issues that Natasha has talked about. We didn't even get into her partnering with doulas and midwives, but she does that as well. I shared my story. So I'm not just saying this just to, just say something fluffy here. It's a real life crisis. And conversations have to be had. I want to thank you, Natasha, again, over and over again, from my heart, for being here with me. We're recording this, guys, on a Saturday morning, and she's dressed up bright and bubbly on a Saturday, y'all, for me. So I don't take it at all lightly. And to everyone that's out there in the Her Voice Shines podcast land, I tell you that miraculous things happen when you let your voice shine. Don't sit on a story. Talk about it. We're trying to be propelled forward. And like the folk in church, say, I love you. Ain't nothing you can do about that. But you can come on back next time for another amazing show here on the Her Voice Shines podcast. Until then, we love you, and we are out.